I get to start my day off with some sunshine. Look at that. Oh, ain't that pretty? Not a cloud in the sky. Well, two clouds? Maybe three. Got some birds. Yeah, we've had some buzzards flying around for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. This is one of those kale plants that the bugs had been eaten down. Show you a leaf down here. You can see that leaf, how it's all eaten. And once it got cold outside and changed the environment and the bugs weren't eating on it anymore, then we started getting some wonderful, wonderful growth. But these plants love colder weather, and the kales and the dark leafy greens, from what I understand, they can survive at negative 30 degrees. Of course, not all of them will survive, but if you help them to be like mulched around the bottoms and kind of keep them protected the best you can, they'll survive and they'll continue to grow. But they have to be healthy in the first place. You can't have like fragile, unhealthy plants, or the plants just won't do very well. So this is one of the vehicles I'm going to be working on this weekend. I did a lot of work to it. I actually got it running and took it for a test drive and then parked it. But there's other things I need to take care of. And gotta let my cardboard dry before I use it to get under the cars. Everything was wet. And that's that metal protective panel that I gotta put back underneath it. So I gotta put it up on these ramps and scoot the cardboard underneath it and go under there and put that back on. And of course these other pieces and parts. I got to figure a few things out with this car, but I will definitely get it. And then this truck, I got a wiring issue. And the reason I think I've got a wiring issue is because I've got too many things wrong with it, and they all happened within the same day. And it started on a rainy day. So I'm thinking I may have a bad ground. The symptoms I have on this is the odometer does not give me, it's not counting up my mileage as I go. The ABS light is on, meaning my anti-braking system is having problems. I'm getting a couple of codes that say that there's like transmission problem, and then the cam, which is the I think it's called a cam bus or something like that, which is the electrical bus, is having a problem, which is the electrical wiring. And it's saying that one of the computers has lost communications, right? So it starts good, it runs good, it sounds good. I can actually drive it, but those codes will actually put it into limp mode, I guess. Because I did have one day where it went into limp mode and I had to get it home. But luckily I had my little OBD2 tester to plug in, and I was able to clear out the codes and come on home. But then afterwards, had it do it all over again. So definitely an issue. And I don't want to get it out on the road and end up on the side of the road anywhere. So I need to get this fixed this weekend if I possibly can. I really, really need to do that. And my old Chevy pickup truck, my 1972 Custom 10. I couldn't put it in gear. I could get it started. It starts, it runs great, but I just couldn't change the gear. It's a clutch, it's a manual transmission. And the linkage, I believe, down where it connects the gear shifter down to the transmission, I think the linkage has got a problem. So I'm going to end up having to crawl under this thing, check out the linkage, maybe disassemble parts of it, clean it up, put it back together, see if I can find a problem. If I can find the problem, I'll get it fixed. That way I can actually put it in gear and move it. And I got to put it in gear and move it because we got a couple of trees and tree limbs here we got to cut down. We'll just cut those that are hanging out here, these two close ones that are hanging out here. We'll cut those down and just turn them into firewood. And so once I do that, then this will be a safer place to park the vehicles back. And there's a limb right there that looks like it fell. I'm glad that didn't fall and hit one of the cars. And this limb fell because we did have some high wind. Anyway, you know how things go. But luckily, pretty blue skies. I think we're going to be good without any rain for, I don't know, at least 5 days that I know of. Looked at the weather forecast. It's going to allow me to have time to actually get out here and do work without being soaking wet. And it is warming up a little bit today as well. So that's what I'm up to today. So I worked the overnight shift, and I got off work this morning. The guy that was supposed to come in and work today was supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, and he called out, and so we had to get another employee to come in to take my place, you know, so that I can hand off, you know, the rotation of the shift over to him. And we always have to have somebody there at all times. So, you know, we had to call a guy in, and he showed up at 9. So ended up leaving work around 9:15 this morning. So on the way home, I stopped off at the town that way that I have to go through to get here, to come home. It's like a 30-minute drive from here to that town. And on the other side of that town is where I can get on the interstate and then have, you know, another 30-minute drive from there into towards the city where I can make it to work. So I stopped off at Publix grocery store there, and I'm in there shopping around, and I see this woman and her son. You know, her son's about my size, my height, and he's holding what I thought was a baby in his arms, and snuggling up a little baby. And I thought, wow, okay, well, the mama must have had a child, and you know, the boy's carrying it around while the mama shops and everything. And as I got closer, and I realized, well, that baby just doesn't look right. Something's wrong. You know, something's not right. And I got a little bit closer. I was trying not to be nosy, but the mama looked at me, and she gave me a big smile, and I smiled back. And you know, the boy looked at me and smiled, and I smiled back, and I looked at what I thought was a little baby, and it's turned out to be a pig. They actually had a young pig, and that pig, you know, the skin color on that pig was basically the same as mine, and it didn't have much hair. So to me, it looked like a human baby. And being a human baby, you know, my first thought was, geez, you know, they should have wrapped that little baby in a blanket. But even the little pig, you know, well, you know, pig in a blanket. They should have wrapped a little pig in the blanket. And it was a cute little thing. It was all snuggled up. And of course, like all young animals, whether it would have been a puppy or the little pig, they in a new environment, so they're snuggling and trying to hide, with the individual that they are familiar with. But anyway, this is definite proof that the little piggy did go to the market.